Hello, welcome to McBoss Capital channel. My name is Michael Chu. This is US stock market recap for the week ending January 30th, 2026. So we are finishing the month of January, and let's go to the monthly chart here for Nasdaq. We did close for the month up 0.9%, so we didn't make much of a move, right? We're still on the monthly chart. It still looks like we on this uptrend. On the weekly chart, we recently had this, 3-week pullback in, I believe October, November, around that time frame. And then we've been basically going sideways. We haven't made new high in a while now, right? And this week we kind of got rejected from the high of the week here. So that's a negative, right? Here's the daily chart, and we draw an upper channel line. We try to come out again, once again. Uh, you know, we first came out of the first channel line here, and it fell on that one. It came back down pretty hard. Now we came out once again on the upper channel line, and then on Thursday it did not do well. It sank all the way to the red line, which is the 50-day moving average right there. And then on Friday, we're hoping for a bounce because on Thursday it recovered quite nicely, right, from the day chart. Let me go to the intraday chart here. So on Thursday we dropped pretty hard, but we bounced back very strong. But despite that, Friday we could not follow through. It was pretty much on selling pressure the whole day here. You can see there wasn't much of a bounce to try to recoup the gain. Towards the end of the day, it got sold off again right here. So overall, I think Nasdaq is under a lot of pressure at this moment, especially it didn't follow through on Friday, because right now we are just slightly below the 10 and 21 day, and 50 days not far away. So it really wouldn't take much to break that red line once again. So that's the problem. Now, of course, that being said, we've been trading sideways, and we could also go to the upside, right? And because this has been going on for quite a while. Same thing on the bottom channel line. We kind of break through right here, but it didn't follow through. It just bounced back right away, and so that's the tricky market right now. It really hard to be a super bull or a super bear because the market is just kind of going choppy and it's going sideways. So that's the thing. Now we will talk more about specific groups in the tech area, especially like semiconductors are doing slightly better, but whereas the software group are getting hit hard. So stay tuned to the end of the video where we'll be looking at the mega cap techs then. Here's the monthly chart for S&P. For January, it did go up 1.37%. So again, the uptrend, it looks like it's still pretty much intact there. Going into the weekly chart, it did make new highs a few times now. So there's one here, and even this week it made new high. But then it did fall back, towards the short-term average there. Here's the daily chart. You can see it better here. All the different highs there, but they don't lift. That's the problem, right? Like it goes up above that channel line, but it pretty much comes back down right away. So that is the problem. Again, this market is just not really moving much, decisively one way or the other. Overall, you can see this pendant formation is still leaning towards the upside. So that's the good thing. So we see similar action on Thursday where it tries to bounce back and recover most of the losses, but it just couldn't follow through on Friday. Friday is doing very similar action. It tried to recover some of those losses, but once again, so I don't like this action because it almost tells me, like, especially 2 days in a row, it just couldn't recover, to go green. There's not much buying power, right? There may be less selling power, but it just doesn't tell me there's enough buying power. So that's the biggest problem. And with earnings season kicking in, like, high gear now, especially this next 2 weeks, with many S&P stocks reporting, I think that could change the whole picture, right? For the month, Dow Jones again went up 1.73%. You can see the rally continues here for Dow Jones. And then on the weekly chart, we are pulling back, slightly, and nothing too severe yet at this moment. Now, however, like the one thing that we notice is how it had been challenged many times here at the 49,600 level, and it just couldn't pass that upper bar here, upper channel line. And it seems like it can go down much easier than trying to pass through that wall. That is the problem right now. If we do come back down to the red line, which will be very negative, because we haven't touched that line in a while now. So, like I said, we're not that far away. So it could test that, and then once it tests, we want to see what happens next, right? Like, does it bounce back right away here? That's the key there. For the month, Russell did well, 5.3%. Very strong rally from the monthly basis here. Definitely looking the strongest in that perspective. On the weekly chart, we're starting to lose some steam right now, being a little bit overextended from the 50-day right now. We're still extended right now. It's pulling back at this moment, and it's coming down pretty sharp. Like, this is the channel line here going down. And on Friday, it suffered another big drop, 1.5%, breaking it below the pink line, which is 21-day. If we do see severe, selling continue, then, we can easily come back to this red line, and then we will see what happened after that. Will it bounce back right here, or whether we just couldn't find support, and who knows, right? I think right now, so far this year, January has lots of news, macro news, tensions in Greenland, tensions in Iran, tensions in Venezuela, like a lot of geopolitical stuff. On top of that, we have the tariff news with Canada or other countries like South Korea and so forth, and EU, right? So it's just a lot of news. And then we have the Fed announcement on Friday. Um, the Trump administration picking their next chair of reserve, and so a lot of things are happening. And after that Fed announcement, the US dollar did bounce back pretty strong. You can see from here on Friday, it's still below the channel line here. So we'll see if that will continue to bounce or whether this is a one-day thing. But that also sparked a sell-off in gold and silver. And at least, I don't know the main reason, but that seems to be like a lot of selling this week, especially on Friday. Thursday, some of them bounced back, but Friday it was a pretty much chaotic day for gold and silver stocks, down 10% on gold here. Silver down like 30%, nearly 28%. So huge drawdown on one day. So this is obviously, that's why it's never paid to chase an extended stop, because the gain that you could make could be much less than the losses you could incur. And in this case, it proves that, because you would not, like, depend if you did buy recently, and you didn't sell fast enough, or you're gonna lose quite a bit. And if you were holding on to it and not sold anything as it goes up, then you also give back a lot, right? So, that's why it's always important that, hey, to take some profit, because, you don't want to give back all your profit. So that's gold and silver. At this moment, it looked like they have topped. It probably will bounce back. There's always a technical bounce back, trying to come back as the 10-day comes down, it will try to bounce back to it, and then maybe take another leg down, and then maybe challenge the red line, right, which is the 50-day. Usually that's how it goes, after a severe breakdown. Another area that's not doing well is Bitcoin. As of Saturday morning, this Bitcoin did hit 76,000, as low as 76,000 USD. That's a pretty big drop. So again, this is also probably breaking all the lows here. So not a good sign, Bitcoin. The one area that has been doing well is U.S. oil. This is continuing to show signs of accumulation. Look at the volume piling up. Even on Friday, it was able to bounce back, and even though it's so extended, this is climbing the right side of the base. And I don't know what's going to happen with Iran and so forth, whether there will be any sort of like U.S. involvement in that. But the oil price is definitely acting like something's going to happen. So that's very interesting. And so there's on the other token related, which is the U.S. energy stocks. A lot of them, I mean, in general, all energy stocks have really moved up. Although most of them doesn't come on my growth stock list, because they don't have the earnings, fundamentals. But they're definitely moving strong right now. We jump to XLE. We should see where is similar action. Here's XLE. It's broken out recently, and it's been climbing since. So a very good action right now. Again, Friday it did bounce back from the morning lows. Looking at Innovator IBD 50 ETF here, let's jump to the weekly chart. We have a huge drawdown this week. Look at that bar. That is an insane bar, and mainly because many gold stocks and probably some silver stocks and some other commodities, because they got hit hard this week, it really punished this index, almost down 6.5% this week. And that is a very negative, reaction to gold and silver mostly. And so I'm not sure what's going to happen to the list on IBD 50, whether some of this will get dropped out. And then, so that's one thing. But definitely a damage chart. On the daily, you can see it even more clearly, because the selling for gold and silver really started on Thursday, but a lot of them, like I said, recover some of it, and then Friday we just really never recover from that. So again, we'll see what will happen with the list there. It might rotate many other stocks into it now and drop gold and silver. We'll see in coming week and so forth. So earnings season will be continuing next week with some from Google, Amazon, Lilly, Eli Lilly, Palantir, and AMD. On Monday, we have auto sales and ISM manufacturing data, job openings on Tuesday, ADP private employment report on Wednesday, and of course, the big US monthly jobs report on Friday. Here's WenX Semiconductor SMH, the symbol. For the week, it actually didn't do too bad. It did come down from the top, but overall, it still looks like the rally is intact, and it closed again lower in the range. On the daily chart, it went up to a new high on Wednesday and Thursday, but it reversed, right? On Thursday, it kind of closed back up. So that is a good sign, the bounce. But on Friday, we couldn't follow through. But more importantly, we undercut the lows here on Thursday. So here you go. This is Thursday. We had a nice rebound, right? And this is a very negative action because we couldn't follow through. But more importantly, the worst thing that could happen is we came back down and we break the lows. So from this perspective, I'm pretty negative at this moment, unless things has changed and we come back and make a new high. But the fact that we couldn't follow through and we also break down to the lower low is always consider a technical downtrend. So I would probably be definitely not trying to jump back into any, especially semiconductor stocks. Of course, there's always some that could be an outlier, but in general, it's hard to fight against the trend. Let's look at Nvidia. We have this huge base forming right now. Now we are seeing Nvidia trading more tightly recently. You can see this action right here, mainly in this range right here. It is very choppy. Again, just the market in general is very choppy. You can see my markups here. The greens are the buys, the reds are the sell, the pinks are partial sell. It is very hard to trade in this environment when the market is very choppy. However, like I said, it's showing a little bit of better sign lately on Nvidia because it's trading more tightly as well. We're starting to form a higher low here as I draw this channel line on the bottom. So that's a good sign, but again, we have to wait and see. And of course, this one is going to be coming out with earnings in 25 days. Who knows what will happen, but just in general, like, whether we will be continuing chopping at this level, which could happen, who knows, right? So here's TSM, Taiwan Semiconductor. It pulled back recently, and then it tries to bounce right here. Like, I was like, should I get in for this bounce? And I just waited and waited, and then Thursday it got pushed back down. And again, Friday, this is very similar to the SMH index. It just couldn't follow through even with the bounce on Thursday intraday. So I don't like this picture at all. Like I say, I'm gonna be more patient now, trying to get into any new position, just because most of the positions you get in now, they just don't work. They go up for a day or two and then they just come back down. So this is a good example of that. It's just a very choppy market at this moment. AMD is definitely pulling back harder here. It is due in 3 days, so we'll see what will happen. But it's been pulling hard, pulling back pretty strong. And yeah, AVGO Broadcom really not doing much. It's already been trading under this trend line for a while now, and it's not looking good at all still. The biggest story of the week is probably on the software side. This is IGV Software Group, ETF here. It is got hit really, really hard, down 7.5%, making a really all like a low that hasn't been seen since like was it like earlier June, like June, April, May, something like that. So this is not looking good at all. And you know. Let's look at the daily chart here. So, we saw some bounce earlier in the week and last week. We tried to hold here, but again, you can see how clearly it found resistance at the short-term moving average, right? The 10 and 21 day has been acting as resistance for a long time now. And this is a classic, right? Like, because, you see this sell off from the top, it bounced back all the way to the short-term moving average, even surpassing all the way to the 50-day. So sometimes it will bounce back to 1021 day, and sometimes it will stop there, and then sometimes it will pass through that. And the 50-day comes down, it tests the 50-day, it fell, and then you can see it found support at the black line this time, and then it bounced again, and look, it just get resist every single time on the upper channel line here. Of course, now the upper channel line has really steepened. You can see this slope here, right? Because, you draw a line across the two recent highs. This is now really steep. And again, we come back to we had this steep drop, we come back, and then we found resistance, and then with the news from Microsoft, which was down significantly, we'll show in a second, it really pushed the whole general market down on that group. So volume is super high. And then Friday, you would think there should be a bounce or something, right? Like some people, some institution will come in and buy at this price, but it didn't happen. Again, this is not good. This is it's starting to look like a very bad picture. There's not, I don't know, there's no other words for it. It's just a very bad looking technical picture. I would stay on out of this at least, I'm sure, like I say, we will see small bounce here and there, but every time it hit the upper channel line, probably, it'll become a resistance. So unless you want to trade really short term, that could be a potential. But, for longer term picture, I would just stay out of it until all these are clear. And but yeah, software group in general has been hit really hard this week. So we'll start with Microsoft here, like Microsoft down. I believe it was close to 10% that day. So let me see here on Thursday. So yeah, 9.99%. So, again, Friday, I mean, it hold up on its own, but, it could have dropped more, but it didn't. So, I mean, you could look at that from a positive perspective, but overall, it's still very negative because we're not seeing the bounce, and, and again, we might come back to the green line here as it comes down. So we could test that level, right? Usually they will, when you're on a trend, you tend to test those trends multiple times. So it's no different than an uptrend, right? If you're on an uptrend, you usually come back down and test your lower channel line multiple times before you even top, right? and this is no different. Before it bottoms, it will usually test those channel lines multiple times. Now here's SAP. Again, very similar. Like these are all big cap software stocks, um, and they got hit hard as well. So this one reported as well, and on the same time as Microsoft, and this is down 15%. Next, we have ServiceNow also reported, and this was down 9.94% on Thursday. So again, I mean, these are, of course, the most of the stocks hasn't done well for a while now, but it just really accelerate downward, right? Here's Palantir. Earnings will be coming out on Monday after hours, I believe. Here's the cup and handle pattern. It came out, but it fell, and then it pushed back down pretty hard, and then it tries to bounce back. Look at that reversal that day when it tried to come out. The next day, it tried one more time, and it fell again. So this is what I'm talking about. If you see 2 days in a row where it just tried to rebound and couldn't, that is not a good thing, especially if it's a big downside reversal. And then from there, we have been really coming down hard. So right now, there's no more support line. You can see it is now below the black line, which is the 200-day. So again, not a good technical picture. We'll see what the earnings look like. It could propel it even further down, you know, much lower. So that's the risk. Amazon will also be reporting this coming week. This one is not too bad of a chart. We had this recent pullback. We tried to bounce, but and then we pull back slightly once again. The pullback has been more orderly despite like higher volume, so that's not a bad sign. Because usually if you might see bigger drop and stuff like that, but so far it's been holding near its 10-day. So that is in that sense is positive. But again, news can go either way, so we'll see what happens. Meta reported this week, did really well on the earnings. I think it was up 10% on Thursday. That's pretty good. And it break all the downtrend line here. So that there you go, that channel line. So it looks really good. Friday it pulled back, but not too hard. It's still near the lows, intraday low of Thursday. This is definitely worth looking at. Here's Google. Google will be reporting this coming week as well. This one is surprisingly holding up really well. It's trading really tight. We came out of this base, but we really hasn't moved since we came out. I mean, we have this nice uptrend here, base again, move up a little bit choppy here, and then we move up a little bit more. So overall, this is pretty healthy chart right now. Again, earnings can go both ways, so I don't want to say it just because the chart looks good now doesn't mean it will continue that way. It can go both ways. There's always risk when earnings come out. Next, we turn our attention to Apple, also reported. Yeah, this is a really nice looking bounce here, especially on Friday. It was down at the beginning, and then it kind of came back by end of day and closed near the top. So that looks really nice on the intraday chart. And so yeah, I do like this chart. Again, Apple coming back from the lows here. The channel line looks pretty good on the bottoms too. So yeah, I mean this looks, I mean we're still below the 50-day. Obviously you can get challenged there, but overall, with the earnings report out of the way, it might be not too bad. If we draw an upper channel line, I think we're still not quite clear yet. So that's probably an earlier entry point would be there. Tesla also reported it did go down. Yes, it did go down, but and hit new low. But Friday it recovered right away. So that is a good sign in that sense. Again, this stock has been basing for a while now at the lower range of this base, and depends how you look at it. They are canceling the production of S or turning that plant into I believe it's called Optimus robot. So they're going to be manufacturing that instead. So that's kind of new news. So who knows? The outlook of building self-driving vehicles in the future and robots could maybe change the dynamic of this company forever, right? So that's that. And Netflix still hasn't come back. Again, this is a very solid trend line here. It just couldn't surpass that, and you can see it never even come close to the pink line. So those are some of the key trend lines you want to look at. At some point, this stock will probably bounce back, but at least for now, we haven't seen it yet. Um, so this week, we for IBD signal, we went from 68 to 80%, bouncing to 80 to 100% allocation on Tuesday. We had S&P hitting all-time high on Tuesday, and tech stocks also doing well that day. But as it progressed, however, the accumulation start to definitely drop, and then the distribution start to pick up, and obviously Friday you can see 286 stocks on accumulation, 428 being distributed. Nasdaq pick up distribution day. I think S&P also did. So now it's at 6 and 3. So still pretty high level of distribution days. And also they dropped the allocation back to 60, 80%. So I don't like how the market is just being so choppy. It's really hard to trade in this environment. On the industry group, you can see mixed picture throughout the week. There's more groups being distributed by Friday compared to accumulated. So it's not like every group is being sold off. So that's also interesting. On the net to net, like stock, like under accumulation minus distribution, there's way more stocks being distributed, except in the commodities, energy, mostly energy, right? Area, right? So that's the energy area. And on my growth stock list in my next video, I'll be talking about this. We currently so I have two lists here. First list is the growth stocks that I've been tracking since October. Basically stocks that have been in the last quarter, right? But the ones that are already announced their earnings report, they are now grouped under this list. And so I have two lists going, the ones that are still hasn't reported yet and the ones that are already reported. You can see the percent in uptrend is still much higher on the ones that have been reported. 41% are still in uptrend, whereas the ones that hasn't reported yet, only 18% now is in uptrend. Most of them are in downtrend. Of course, with the gold, silver, and all the commodities getting hit hard this week, a lot of those stocks are on this list, and so that's also part of the reason why it dropped so much. So yeah, in my next video, please follow. I'll be talking about especially this new list here, what is still doing well after their earnings report. Thank you all for watching. Hope you like and subscribe.